Welcome into the Michigan Football Postgame Extra along with Jim Scarcelli. I'm Dennis Fithian. Michigan wins the ball game today, 45-7. Scar, an impressive showing for the number 2 team in the country as they go into Lincoln on a hot day, and they just roll Nebraska, making quick work of them. It was 35-0 at the half, but Michigan, played their best game of the year. They look fabulous. What do you think?
Danny, it doesn't get any better. As a coach, I've had these games, and it just doesn't get any better. You get the win, okay? You get better. We got better. We come out of there and appeared to be healthy. We played everybody that traveled, I bet you got in that game. Everybody that got on that plane got in that game. Okay, how about no turnovers? You go on the road, you secure the ball. And plus, it's an on the road. We're on the road. A lot of guys got experience, so it just doesn't get any better. As we move through this thing, now we're rolling. Played a lot of quarterbacks, played a lot of guys. It's just a great situation.
Yeah, no turnovers and also no penalties committed by Michigan either. I don't know how many games you get where you go through and there's no penalties called on your team. I know they like that. And, a lot of times we're talking about, all the different nuances and texture in a game. This was one where the stars came out and flexed their muscles. And I would start with J.J. McCarthy at the quarterback position. I mean, he looked, Brock Heward. There were times there like it was, for the first 2 games where it was just like, man, spectacular, unbelievable. Hey, put this guy up there with Caleb Williams, that kind of talk. But when you play like JJ did today, he was, I don't know, you think about perfect, but he looked pretty good out there. What would you say about old number 9?
Yeah, he was outstanding. He stepped up in the pocket. He only had a couple throws that were a little high, but one thing that we're taking for granted, sitting here watching it on TV, it was pretty darn windy there. And we don't know the impact that had on passing, but he did a good job for the weather conditions. And I mean, just a lot of players did good things, man. Our coaches did a great job. Our scheme was good. Our players executed. We got the run game going. The play calling was really good. It was all over the place. Again, Sharon Moore, man, not predictable. Yeah, JJ was. We've become accustomed to him doing those things. You watch the kid at USC. You just, that's what it is. That's what he does. And JJ's that kind of kid. We expect that.
Yeah, and Roman Wilson, the first touchdown of the game, a 29-yarder, he pins it to the back. You could say he got mossed, whoever the defensive back was there, but you might go another 10, 20 years, you might not see another catch like that by a Michigan wide receiver. That was awesome. And then, it was highlight after highlight. After the Roman Wilson touchdown, you get McGregor, who's really good. What I noticed from Braden McGregor is last year, he's really good when the quarterback, whether he's getting his hands up in the passing lane, but then tipping the ball. He was good against Ohio State like that last year, and then he tipped that one that Kenneth Grant ended up getting the interception. That was a highlight reel. And Scar, you haven't patted yourself on the back for this, but during the practices that you've went to over the last year, there were a few times you came on and said, this number 20, Khalil Mullings, you like how he ran behind his pads, tough runner, looked good in all the practice that you went to, and Mullings with that 20-yard run. And, the way that it's just shaping up, Mullings looks like every game, it wouldn't surprise me if he continues to get more run.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, the kid's a former linebacker. He played both positions last year. He's a tough kid. And I've been waiting, man. I've been waiting. Finally, here we are, game 5. We get him in there. I think we got 3 running backs. We got 3, and the 34 got in there and looked pretty darn physical. Franklin at the end.
Yeah.
But Mullings he secures that darn football, and that pile falls forward when he gets in there. So yeah, but to finish up with JJ, probably the most. He had the run. He stepped up in the pocket and ran that one. That was the seas parted. That was beautiful. But probably the most impressive one was when he got outside the pocket. You can't coach speed, man. He got outside the pocket and threw that other one to Roman. But Hey, listen, man. Donovan is showing some. You got to look real close. You got to look closely at him. There's some physicalness that he's showing. That I'm seeing it. I think we have 3 running backs that can play. I'd like to see him get Corum out more now. If we're starting to have a lot of success and move the ball on people and get a lead, I'd like to see more 20, more 7. I want Corum there when the Buckeyes roll in town and when we got to go to Penn State. So we got to have. I mean, we got 2 key guys, and it's the franchise, and Corum is the second franchise guy. So I like to see more 20, more 7. But they continue to use 7 in a lot of ways, which gives defenses problems. But he showed some physicalness, he showed some toughness. So, and he got outside the defense a couple times. So Donovan's doing good things. I am not down on Donovan. I'm not down on him. I'm seeing subtle improvement, toughness. I'm seeing it.
14 carries for Donovan Edwards for 48 yards for Edwards, and he caught 1 pass. They targeted him a few times. You know, if Donovan Edwards didn't do what he did last year at the end of the season, there'd be a lot more questions about Donovan Edwards, and if he could, be this game breaker. He's a weapon. If that's the biggest worry that Michigan has, and maybe it is, I don't know. They didn't look like they had a lot of worries today. We can give you an update. There was a chance that Michigan was going to be number 1 come Monday because Auburn and Georgia were in a dogfight at Jordan-Hare, but Georgia prevailed. So maybe Michigan will pick up a couple of votes, but they'll stay there at number 2. I know a lot of people want to see them go up to number 1, but Georgia does win the ball game. I don't know, coaches, you say there's a lot of guys came in there, and Donovan Edwards, you could say, hey, you'd like to see him. It would have been nice to see him take off and maybe get a 80-yarder, and then you'd feel like, man, all the weapons are rolling, everything feels good. There were a couple slants and posts. I mean, but the Michigan defense looked great. I thought they looked great, man. The defensive backs looked great, all 3 levels, all the way through there. The tackle in, the guys up front, the edge position. Like, if this was the first game of the year, I'd say, hey, Michigan looks like they're national championship ready.
Yeah, the big thing I was concerned about was the option game. I've watched Nebraska play, and they run option a lot, and they've had success. And anytime a team runs option, it gives you problems, gives you headaches. And we had great scheme against the option. So our option responsibility and assignment, they ran it a few times, and we did a good job with it. We came out with the 3-4 against this team. So we started Kenneth Grant. We started Benny in there, along with Jenkins. So those 3 guys started. That was good to see more 3-4. And I think that was the adjustment for Nebraska because of the stuff they were doing. But 94 and 78 did a great job early in the game on a 4th down stop. Of course, the announcer doesn't know. He's telling us about McGregor, but it was the 2 inside guys that stopped the play, 94 and 78. Believe me, Denny, the quarterback up there, he doesn't know what's going on. But finishing up with quarterback, I know I'm going to bounce back with it, but Tuttle was the first guy in. It says something. That says something. And he was respectable. He looked good. He completed some short passes. That was good. That gives the team confidence. You want the team confident if our second team kid has to go in the game. That matters. It matters to everybody on that team. The defense, the offensive line, everybody wants to feel confident when that second kid goes in. Donegal did good. The big kid. He looked more confident through running the ball. And he threw a pass. And he threw a touchdown, right, Denny?
Yes, he did.
That's a great thing that we got the young kid now showing toughness, throwing a touchdown pass, and then the other guy, Davis Warren, got in there. So that was a great thing for the young quarterbacks there. But I'll get into some more defense in a minute.
Yeah, you said it earlier, and I couldn't agree more. The second touchdown that J.J. McCarthy threw to Roman Wilson, like I thought, hey, just get out of bounds, just get rid of that one. And that's where you start getting into the category of say, all right, how much you like J.J. McCarthy? What do you like? A play like that, be able to throw that one in there, marry that one up with Roman Wilson and get that score. Maybe there's 10 quarterbacks that can do that in college play. Maybe there's more, but and that puts you kind of where a flash. You say, hey, that's a special kind of play, and we know what he can do with his legs. And there was the hiccup against Bowling Green. He said it this past Monday, and a lot of people were saying it, and then he said it that it was a blessing in disguise that it happened when it did. But he's back and looking like the number 9 that you thought heading into the year, and all those other games, he looks fabulous. And the team's rolling. The way they went on some long drives when they made it 35-0, 11 play, 78 yards after Nebraska missed that field goal to come out in the second half. Really a dominating performance from start to finish, is as impressive as you can be. And one thing for Michigan is and this is fair. People say, well, you just don't know how good they are because they haven't played anyone. I think that's true. That's not you don't have to defend yourself. A lot of Michigan fans hey, wait a second. No, it's true, but you can only go now with what is out in front of you. Yeah, Michigan went out there, made mincemeat of Nebraska. Now they got to do the same thing against Minnesota. Do the same thing against Indiana. That's fine. Go up to East Lansing, wipe out Michigan State, take care of Purdue, and then those last 3 games at Penn State, at Maryland, at Ohio State in November for a championship. Oh, people are waiting for that. We'll say if people are saying we got to wait and see until we start crowning Michigan, let's wait till November. That's right. That's okay. But that's I know it ticks off some people. I don't think there's any reason you need to be ticked off. It's all right. Michigan plays like this, doesn't matter who they're playing. You could feel pretty good about where they're at.
Yeah, but like I said, Danny, you want to beat those people late in the year. And I said we got better today, but we got to keep getting better. We got to get better, Penn State and Ohio State. I'm going to finish up some things I saw on offense.
All right.
I like seeing us throw to 89. We threw the ball to Barner a lot. You know what I think's happening, Denny? I think 18 is getting a hell of a lot of attention in the pass game. 18 is getting a lot of attention, and I think we used him a little bit as a decoy today. 89 was open. We had 18 and 89 in the game. That was a good thing. And 17, Klein got in there late. He showed some toughness. He showed some blocking because apparently Hibner's going to redshirt and leave. So it was good to see Klein in there punching some people and moving people. 73 started, okay? The big fella.
Ladarius Henderson, yeah.
So Henderson started, played the whole game, did some good things. Pass protection was okay. He's got good feet. We move him, use him on the counter tray. And Hinton, I don't think Hinton even traveled. I don't know if the kid got hurt.
He's a little nicked, yeah.
Okay, so Henderson was – see, there you go. People want to complain about, why aren't you just getting those 5 dudes, man? You can't play. No, man, that's an advantage. That's why it paid off for us. And I thought he did some good things. There's some things he can do that Hinton can't. Pulling on the counter tray and some things that we use them, but a couple of times we got to cut off that backside. They ran through on him one time. El Hadi got in there late. 53 is 53. He wasn't 93, but he was. Trente Jones is a tough kid. They use him at times as tight end, and he played a lot and he did a good job at tackle. Getting back to some other things. We talked about using Donovan at the slot. They lined him up at the slot. Denny, if there's anything that we still want to see from our offense, we had a few of them, but we want to see some explosive plays. We threw deep to Roman, and then JJ got out the pocket and we threw deep. But I guess I still would like to see that. I think our coaches did a great job, Denny, in certain formations. I think we did. We exploited some of the weaknesses of that 3-3-5 defense. And I think I'll look at it on Monday on the film, and that's coaching, because we came out in certain formations that really made it made some of their secondary guys come up and play physical that they don't want to play. So a lot of that was coaching. But I was so happy with that first drive, man. The first drive was just all over the place from a play calling standpoint. And it was you could not figure out what the hell Sharon Moore was going to do. And that's what you don't want to face as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people knew about this because everybody talked about it all week long. And you do have to look for something, even though, you're just a couple You were 4 games in the second game of the conference. Nebraska having the number 1 rush defense in the Power 5. I mean, number 1 in the country, and the number 1 rushing attack too in the Power 5. I mean, those things stand out. But Michigan went out there, whether they heard that or they just wanted to show that they could run 51 times. They ran the ball for 249 yards. I mean, that was pretty impressive. And then in terms of Nebraska, they ended up getting 106 yards. But man, Michigan's rush D when it needed it. I think about that 4th down, say early in the game, but it was in the first quarter where Nebraska was down there going for it. You already talked about that play, the 2 inside guys. Brock Heward was talking about nice job by Braden McGregor getting in there, but that run wall on the inside really stuffed him.
Yeah, the edge guy, trust me, I played on the edge, and you're not making that play if we're not stuffing them inside there. And that was 78, and 94 was outstanding. You have to look real close to see that. But defensively, I talked about it. The option, defending the option and sticking that play up there wazoo, we had to start with that. And that was Minter schematically did a great job with that. We got some good pressure from our edge guys. I was kind of upset. Stewart loses contain a couple times, but then he had a sack later on. He figured it out. You got to keep contained. We let him off the hook one time because he could definitely bring the pressure, and we're getting good pressure from our edge guys. Moore had a sack and pressure. McGregor had one. Stewart had one. So a lot of good edge pressure there. We're dropping our edge guys a lot, more so than we have the last 2 years under McDonald or Minter his first year. I think it's getting back to some of the stuff they did when I was playing. We had 2 edge players, and we dropped them a lot more than what these guys have been doing. But these last 2 games, they're doing a lot of it, and it creates problems for the offense. They don't know which guy's rushing, which guy's dropping, and it's all about deceiving the defense or the offense, But I'll tell you a guy, Denny, that I really like in there, and he's getting a lot of clock, is the big dog 99. Good.
Cam Good, yeah.
Yeah, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Gilbert Brown. Remember old Gilbert played with the Packers?
The grave digger?
The grave digger. This kid, I mean, he's a tough, stout kid, man. He was really good in there. He doesn't get moved out. He plays good technique. He got a lot of clock today. So all those guys, 78, 90, 26, 99, all 3 of those guys, that Mason Graham is out. And, we keep talking about we don't talk about our linebackers much because they got a nice little 3-man rotation there, but it's the same damn thing. They're good tacklers, real good Michael Barrett's good tackler in space. And, I think all of them, they're all benefiting from playing 3 guys, all 3. I've said it. I keep beating that up, but it's so true that they're able to get a series off and catch their breath. So that's good coaching and good from that standpoint.
Yeah, well, here we have some feedback here. Let's take some. Christopher says he almost felt bad for Nebraska, demoralizing them, and good for the fan base. Here's Montrell. Not everything, looking swimmingly through Montrell's eyes. He says Michigan does not have a championship offense. They can't keep forcing the run. It ain't it. What are your thoughts on Montrell's thoughts there, Scar?
Well, it's game 5, and we're going to keep getting better. And, we got to do both. We got to be able to do both. You got to be able to be creative offensively and have a foundation offensively. Power play. We ran our power play okay. We ran our zone okay. Our JJ in the pass game was better than average today. And you just have to be multiple, and you got to be diverse. And you hope that in the big games, you make plays, but we just got to keep getting better, man. Keep getting better. Getting back to the defense again. I was upset with that 3rd group get in there. They got in there for 1 play and they give up a touchdown. That was just disturbing, and that's not real good. But
yeah, for me, it's 5 games into the season. Just going back to Montrell for a second, if some other people so he thinks the defense is good enough to win a championship. I would say combined with what I have seen from Michigan, and then the Georgia was in a fourth quarter battle at Auburn. If this Georgia team was playing last year's Georgia team would be favored by like 15 points over this year's Georgia team. They're not the same team as they were last year. So Georgia, they don't look invincible. They look beatable. Ohio State, we watched them last week. We know how Michigan matches up with Ohio State, and we know where that game's being played. I feel good about Michigan's chances against Ohio State. You start going through Florida State, and then, there's Penn State, then there Penn State and Ohio State. I mean, this is going to be for, a Big Ten championship, but then the bigger fish to fry in the college football playoff. I know it's a long ways away, but, Michigan, when you look at teams that you think have a chance at win it all, you look at the line play, and then you look at the stars, and you go right to the quarterback. J.J. McCarthy is a tremendous quarterback. I think that he's the kind of guy that you can win a championship with. Blake Corum behind that offensive line is the kind of guy you can win a championship. A lot of people in the offseason were saying Michigan just doesn't have the wide receivers to compete and win on the big stage for the national championship. And, Roman Wilson is as good as any wide receiver in the country. Cornelius Johnson is a fabulous number 2. And Colston Loveland, you start mixing some other guys in there too. But Loveland, I don't know how many wide receivers and how many pass catchers you want, but they're there. That, if they've got a shot, everything's not perfect. Look at the other teams. They're not perfect either. But I think Michigan fans should sit back and enjoy this. They're in a good position. They're playing well. Things look really good for them. So, I've been through a lot of seasons where I've sat around saying, I don't know, things don't look so hot. Boy, they got problems here. Boy, they really need to shape up there. They just need to keep staying the course here. They got the coach. He's back. He's got some fire. Scar sitting out for 3 games, and you get that taken away. Whatever you think about the suspension, whether it's he's watching that at home. He's never been in that situation. He came back, and on Monday, somebody that worked down for Michigan for at least 30 years came up to me. He said, I don't know what Harbaugh's taking, but man, he's got some jump, And yeah, and he was talking about his different.
He had 3 weeks of bottled up juice, Denny. He had 3 weeks of bottled up energy and enthusiasm unknown to mankind that had to come out. But hey, you're right. I see the Big Ten with 3 really, really good football teams, 3 really good defenses. And, I think those games are a coin flip, man. And you talk about the best, the SEC looks like they got some parity. Alabama, Georgia. I don't know that, there's one great team, but you got 2 great teams out in the Pac-12, man. With USC and Washington. So, and we're right there with all of them. You got, any given day, you got to play. But real quick again, let's give the ball to number 20 on 3rd and 1. Did you see what he did on 3rd and 1? I mean, he's ripping it in there. Let's not play around anymore. Let's get, Corum or 20. Okay. And blank like my Gilbert Brown. But I just think the kid, Gilbert Brown wasn't the tallest guy, but he played with great technique. He never got knocked out of there. And 99 has shown improvement, getting better, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Go ahead and throw some in. How about Roman Wilson, 7 TDs, AOKO, talking about Roman Wilson. He's fast. I mean, I don't know where you want to start. He's fast, and he's you look at some. I think of some of the wide receivers. He reminded me of Deshaun Jackson, who played for Cal and played for the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of teams in the pros, but when I first saw Roman Wilson, that's who he reminded me of. But he just it hasn't just been this year. It wasn't just last year, even 2 years ago when they were at Penn State. He caught 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's a good route runner. He's tough. Yeah, people say, well, he's got to stay injury-free. So does everybody else. So, he's having a great season, and he's a game breaker, and Michigan's got a legit number 1.
Yeah, he's we can use him a lot of ways. They use him on jet sweep. They use him on bubble screen. He's a weapon, man. Let's talk special teams real quick, Denny.
All right.
Kickoff. Can't ask for okay. What do we got there? Punt return. Thaw did a good job. He caught the ball. Then we had a nice 12-yard return. I've covered the jamming and dogging, and we did a good job with that. Had a nice return there. But number 8, man, he's got to catch the ball. Morris. We almost put the ball. We did. I mean, we got a break with the bounce, but he's got to catch the ball. And obviously, Jim and his son Jay, the special team coach, they want to have 2 guys that can catch punts, so they played them both. But that was not a good thing to drop the ball there. But we did have a nice return, in our. And I guess there really wasn't much else there. We made all our extra points, made a field goal, which is really good. But Danny, I had this on my notes about play calling. And I know, remember the one series, I think we're up 28-0. Then we come out and we throw a bomb on first down, and then we throw it over the head of Loveland, and then we run a play, and we're punting 3 plays later. A lot of people, and I'm part of it. We're all upset with that, but you got to think in the long term that we threw a deep pass on first down, and you just have to do it every now and then. You got to throw deep on first down so that the opponent, the defensive coordinator, has it in your tendency in the play chart that this guy ain't afraid to throw deep. So I know it bugs me, it bugs people looking at it, but it is what it is, and it's just something a good offensive coordinator can't be afraid to do.
All right, we'll get some final thoughts. How about a look ahead? Michigan, another road trip. This time they will head to Minneapolis and they will take on Minnesota. That is a 7:30 game coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, Danny, I tell you, the onside kick at the end, a lot of people would be pissed. I know sometimes I used to get pissed at that as a coach. You're up 45-7 and the guy's going onside. But there's always an upside to that, because now I got to work on it with my hands team. You got to actually get your guys on the field, that you work on it in practice, and you get to practice that stuff. So, there's a part of you that's upset with it, but it is what it is. You got work. But yeah, Minnesota went to Northwestern, who actually gave Penn State a good game for a while today. They were up in that game, and they defended them for a while. They don't have much. Northwestern doesn't have much of an offense, but anyway, they beat Minnesota there last week. So Minnesota's, I saw them play North Carolina tough. Obviously they beat Nebraska. I don't think Minnesota has the run game like they've had in the past. The physicality, the big, huge offensive linemen, they're just not, the quarterback is a better passer than I think they've had in the past. So they are, defense is about where it's been, but the physicality of the run game is not there like traditional PJ Fleck, row your boat offensive lineman run game.
Yeah, Minnesota did pick up a win today over Louisiana at home, 35-24. But yeah, that overtime game at Northwestern stands out, feeling like Michigan should be able to go in there and do like maybe what they did today to Nebraska, just get out there and boat race them. All right, before we get to some final comments from both of us, let's go through and we do have some questions. AOKO asking.
Yes, it does, man.
Does this game make Scar feel more?
Yeah, it makes me feel better. I would have liked to have gotten more. I'm not sure what's going on in the head of the coaches. Okay, but all those guys looked. Donegal looked very. It gives you a lot of confidence. He gives you confidence for the future. He kid run around. He's tough. He's put his helmet down. He ran somebody over. He threw a dime in the end zone. And Tuttle, I remember when Tuttle played for Indiana. He gave us problems at times. He's a kid that's been around. So he looked good in there. So yes, I am a hell of a lot more confident. And like I said, man, I know that the team has to feel that, because I was a guy on the sideline when Harbaugh got hurt 40 years ago. And it's all long time ago, but it still mattered. I remember how the team felt when the backups went in there, and you got to have confidence in that kid. Confidence.
All right. Speaking of back in the day when you were playing, somebody had a a question to you about your playing days, and let's just give me 1 second. Here it is. This is from the Papa, who asked about your mustache back in '85. He would love to see it again. Scar, what would it take for you to?
Oh man,
A
that was the look back in the day, Denny. That was the look, man.
You know, it's back. You know, I haven't donned one myself, but
that was the chick magnet deal right there, man. You had to have a little cheesy mustache.
Well,
but yeah, I ain't sported that in a while.
Yeah, well, maybe think about it, and you could go back to it. Mark saying, you know,
what? Maybe I'll break it out. The Wolverines win a national championship. Oh, Scar, let that thing happen again. Did I miss the Mullings praise? No, we've been on it, Mark. We've talked about. I talked about it for a while. I said, why hadn't we seen more of them in them first early games, right, Denny? I said that.
Hell yeah.
You know, and I think it's going to happen now. We have three running backs that those coaches should feel confident in, and that's a great situation.
You know, like here's my final thoughts. When I watch Michigan play on defense, I see a lot of depth, and I see a lot of playmakers up front on the defensive line, at the edge, at linebackers, at safeties, at corner. Now they're just getting some guys back. They're relatively healthy. Getting Mason Graham back, you know, for the stretch run will be great. When they make somebody beats them on a slant, or they kind of throw it over the middle, and the other team's actually making a play, I'm a little bit surprised. And then the late run, sure, you'd like to get a shot out, but this defense looks like a top-notch defense that can play with any offense and shut down any offense in the country. So I'd be very encouraged there if I was a Michigan fan. And on offense, you just go through it. From J.J. McCarthy to Blake Corum to Roman Wilson to that offensive line to the tight ends, the way they can block. And then they have a coach. They have one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in all of college football. That's no small thing. When you get in against these in these big games, to have Harbaugh on your sideline, if you're a Michigan fan, you feel like you should feel pretty confident. I think these players will feel really confident if they're going against James Franklin or Ryan Day. If they get to the college football playoff, Kirby Smart, Harbaugh and company can match wits and plays with any of those coaches. So they are checking all of the boxes. Stay patient. Enjoy the ride here. Michigan is in awesome position. Today they played their best game of the year, and they've got nothing but, I think, good things to look forward to in the days and weeks ahead. How about you, Scar? Give us your final thoughts.
Yeah, great total effort. Win healthy, play a lot of guys, and I want to reiterate that our coaches really, we exploited the weaknesses of that defense. We didn't just show up with better players offensively. Yeah, we got some big dudes that move guys around, but our technique was good, and we did things to give them problems, okay, regardless of talent. So I give our offensive coaches credit, and then defensively our coaches too. They were running option all over everybody, okay? And I saw what we did, and I'm going to have film with it on Monday. We had great scheme, and that's coaching and players that executed it. So this is all around accolades, Denny, for a lot of people, coaches and players. Got it done. I wish I was on that plane with them flying home. I remember those days. It's a beautiful thing, flying home with a big win, and get back in time tonight to go out and maybe celebrate a little bit.
That's right. Now Scars bringing back the old days. Michigan up 14-0 after one. They're up 28-0 at the half. They go on to win this one. They get up 45-0 before Nebraska does score 45-7 the final. Michigan is 5-0, and they're the number 2 team in the country, Scar.
All right, Denny, it's all good, baby. Go blue.
Talk with you on Monday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Smash those like buttons and leave us those comments. We love those 5 stars over on the podcast.